Hi, Scottish Mudlarking here with Nicole and Craig. Today we're doing something completely different. It's our wedding anniversary today, so we thought we would take a walk up the hill to see a monument that we've been meaning to go to for several years now and have never managed to get to. So come join us. We're going to take a big walk up through the Hill of Tarvit and have a look at the monument. When we get back to the house, Nicole's going to have a look at some sea glass we collected a wee while ago, and we're going to have a look at doing some crafts. It's unusual that they come. I don't think they're coming towards us, to be honest. Oh, the wee beans, sorry. So our first stop, the strange tower on the hill. You know, if we're lucky we might see a hawk. Well, we occasionally do here. Usually over on the woods on the other side of the house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they tend to sort of hover over there. Must be lots of little meeses. Are we going to say, if we say moose again, we don't mean the large dangerous animal, we mean the small cowering timorous wee thing. A bit of a muddy path today. It's been raining over the last few days. Not normally this slippy, but we're about to enter into the woods, so it should be a little bit drier in there, we hope. Nicole having a wee bit of bother getting along through that mud there. It's pretty muddy, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I don't think I'm wearing the right shoes.
Oh yeah, okay. Day for the wellies.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how we get on.
Let's.
Just to let everybody know where we're headed, we hope that the thing that you can see up there on the top of that hill, that's our port of call. So we're going to go over to this tower first on the hill on the other side, and then we're going to see if we can get up there before the sun sets. Yeah, as you can probably see, the sun is hanging very low in the sky at the moment, so this late autumnal day, well, this winter's day,
bit of a tall order.
Yeah, we might not get up there. You might not be able to hear a word I'm saying as well. I realise the wind's quite strong. Anyway, let's get on our way.
Why is it so low?
Why is it so low? Yeah, an incredibly low handle. Just to, I mean, if you want to stand alongside that, you'll get a sense of just how low that handle is.
Yeah.
How unhandy that handle is.
Oh,
so I'll step back so that you can see Nicole. Just if you stand upright.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, where would you expect the handle to be?
So yeah.
Yeah, around about waist height, yeah?
Yeah.
This one's closer to knee height, maybe ankle, a wee bit above ankle height. Yeah. Oh well, it's open. Maybe people were a lot smaller in the past.
A lot smaller.
Now, well, we know that people have gotten taller over the decades and centuries, but no, I don't think we were ever quite that small. Yeah. Yeah, so we're very close to the tower now.
We might not be by the sea, but the trees certainly sound like waves.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that sound of the wind through the trees.
Found an owl.
You found an owl?
Yeah. It's a carving of an owl. I don't know why it's there.
Yeah, it's quite a spooky looking owl as well. A quite angry owl. I think this is angry owl. From Arthur, the angry owl.
It's got a face on the other side.
Yeah. Not an owl face, is it?
No.
There's a leaf for a tongue. So here we are. We've reached up the top of the first hill here.
Yeah. I think they've cleaned up the area. You see the entrance bits up there for the pigeons?
Just to explain then, the building is a dukut. That is a building that was built with the express purpose of encouraging pigeons to go inside and roost and lay eggs. These dukuts in various forms, either in caves and in various other structures, have been used for thousands of years.
Quite Amazing, isn't it?
It is incredible, yeah. So basically, yeah, what will happen then is, as I say, the pigeons will go in there, they'll make their little nests in the little boxes provided inside, they'll lay eggs, and then somebody will come along and collect the eggs. Now, the people who would come along and collect the eggs from this dookoot, we're going to try and show you where they would come from. It's a wee trek. I wouldn't fancy being the butler in the morning when her ladyhood or yeah, when the little bell went off in the kitchen and somebody said, "Oh, I quite fancy some eggs this morning."
Eggs, please.
Yeah, can I have some eggs? It's like, yeah, well, that's only a half-mile dash across fields to get to here. And that is the building for whom, or for which, this tower provided eggs in the form of pigeon eggs. So if you can make out that little dot of a monolith, that's where we're about to head off to try and get to. So, this is us at the foot of the hill. We're going to have to find out the name of that hill. I reckon it's probably called Tarvit Hill.
Yeah, I think so.
But we'll find out. You might hear the pair of us panting a little bit on the walk. But I think we'll manage. I think we'll get up there okay.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, let's climb the hill.
It looks a little steeper than Bin End. Now, yeah, this is all fenced off because they're doing conservation work on the house.
Yeah.
So we're not going anywhere near there. Instead, yeah. Now, is that the biggest rhododendron bush I've seen in a long time? Or?
I don't know, maybe. It's quite big.
Yeah, it's big, whatever it is.
It is a rhododendron, yeah.
Okay, so that's a massive rhododendron. You can see the trend continues here.
Yeah.
People with large estates planted rhododendrons.
We've never been up here before, I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the first time we've climbed up here. We've been meaning to do it for some years, but never quite gotten around to it.
Perfect opportunity.
Yeah, and there should be some fantastic views from the top. Going to pause here for a second and no, catch the light, Han, catch the light. It's such a beautiful time of year to be in the woods.
It is.
Everything just glows with colour.
Yeah, there's so much stuff. I mean, it's unlikely that we'll find anything kind of noteworthy to take. It's a really well managed forest, but you know, there's always stuff you could take for crafting.
Yeah. Yes, I'm not sure if the camera angle makes it obvious here, but it's quite a steep wee hill. Okay, so let's get on.
Yeah.
It's not going to climb itself.
No.
Got a wee stile to help us go over the fence. I'm a little surprised. I thought the woods stretched on a lot further than they do.
Yeah. I wonder if this is the right path.
Well,
Kind of looks like you could go up that way.
have we found ourselves on the wrong path again? say there.
Quite windy.
It's an interesting little hill, this one, isn't it?
Yeah. You think it's a fairy mountain?
Oh, a fairy hill, a fairy mound.
Huh?
Ooh.
There's stones there.
Yeah, there's lots of little stones here. There's yeah, this kind of typical shape of a little hill. Yeah, so a hill circled by trees is often referred to as a fairy hill or a fairy mound.
Does that mean fairies would live in here?
Well, yeah.
At their simplest, a fairy fort can be marked by a circle of trees, though many are marked by a pile of stones or some kind of earthworks that are evident on circular mounds. These features were, and for some still continue to be, signs of fairy occupation, or at least they represent the entrance to the world of the fae folk. Scots folk tales are full of stories about people being taken into the world of the fae, usually to entertain the fae folk. People taken by the fae have a terrible time of it. If they ever return to the human world, they can find it difficult to return to their normal selves and their way of life. They could be said to be away with the fairies. It's thought wise to steer clear of fae folks, or if nothing else, to be very respectful to these places, lest you be taken away by the fairies yourself. These days, archaeological evidence has shown that these sites are often the remnants of ancient stone circles, round houses, and other ancient circular features. Nonetheless, when we find these places, we can show them some respect. After all, even if you don't believe in fairies, when we walk in these places, we walk in the footsteps of the people who walked here thousands of years ago and who built walls of protection around their families and the gardens that they lived from.
And the fairies live in the mountain.
Well, yeah, that's the story.
Are they nice fairies or mean fairies?
Okay, Scots fairies. We'll have to do that as a subject at some point. Don't expect them to be very, very pleasant creatures. Yeah, Scottish fairies and Irish fairies tend to be mischievous at best, deadly at worst.
Okay, well, let's not disturb them.
Yeah, we don't want to disturb the fae folk.
Yeah.
So we've got up round here and onto that monument.
Looks intriguing.
Yeah. So we're walking around this, we're going to call it a fairy mound. Oh, it's muddy up here, very muddy. We can see that there have been landslides here in the past, not big dramatic ones, but landslides nonetheless. And I also imagine that livestock are up here grazing and pasturing.
I think I'm going to collect a couple of cones and some leaves, just as a kind of memory.
Oh wow, just the views over on the other side there.
Nice views, huh?
Yeah, the views are absolutely spectacular.
Yeah.
Let's try to get up the top, and that way we'll get a really good look at them.
You can also see a freshly ploughed field.
Yeah, I mean the sun isn't setting quite yet, but it doesn't have long before it's down past the horizon. Thankfully for us, that means that we still get lots of really lovely views.
It's really nice up here.
Spectacular, isn't it?
Yeah. I wonder if that's Lago Law over there, or
We'll press on,
yeah.
and then we can take a look around, see what we can see. But this is the monument we were coming up for. There are two things here. One is an Ordnance Survey marker. My guess is that's the smaller of the two.
Yeah.
And the other one, we'll probably have to explain in a little more detail when we get to the top. Well, we made it!
Yeah.
And so this monument then, we think was built, or in fact we know, right, it was built by the people of Cupar. So that village that I just showed you, and I'll probably do a little bit of editing so that you can see it again. This was built by the people of Cupar because they were so grateful that Mary I had decided or chosen not to invade and crush the little town.
Back in 1555, I think.
This is not the first monument to stand on top of Wemyss Hall Hill. The first was actually the Merkat cross from the town of Cupar. A Merkat cross can be found at the centre or the old marketplace of many towns and cities throughout Scotland. They stood as markers of a town's right to hold a market and to trade. These rights were not automatic, they had to be granted by a Scots king or land baron. Cupar's Merkat cross dates back to 1683. There is some dispute concerning the authenticity of similar monuments that were built after 1707. The cross stood marking Cupar's centre until it was removed from its original location around 1817. In 1817 it was gambled away by Cupar's provost, that is a head official similar to a mayor, who was playing a game of cards with the Earl of Weems. Who knows why, but the Earl of Weems chose to take the statue from Cupar's town centre and pop it up on Wemyss Hall Hill. The statue stood there for around 80 years, and then in 1897 the UK celebrated Queen Victoria's 60th year as monarch. In the same year, the townsfolk subscribed to have their Merkat cross returned. Provost McQueen's application was granted by David Weems, and the cross was replaced where it belonged in June the 22nd, 1897. Though it's not mentioned in most of the accounts that I read, a few sources suggest that the monument that we see on Wemyss Hall Hill today was constructed to celebrate 60 years of Queen Victoria's reign, and that it was offered in trade for the original Merkat cross. However, the plaque on the Merkat cross in Cupar suggests that it was replaced there to commemorate Victoria's Diamond Jubilee. For whatever reason, it's great to see it back where it belongs.
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, I did. I'm getting a wee bit cold now.
Yeah, we're all going to be rosy cheeked and ready for a nice hot cup of tea.
Yeah.
Okay, we shall see you at the bottom of the hill. What a lovely place to come though.
It's really nice, yeah.
Gorgeous. And that massive buildings down there, we live on the outside of that. Thankfully not in the thankfully not in the middle. But yeah. So I'm not sure if you can see the tower that we started off at from here, but it's just nestled between the trees over there. I'll zoom in so you can have a look. Try as I might to show you how steep this hill is, it's very difficult. I mean, it doesn't look very steep there, but it's yeah, well, I'll just say it is very steep there. You might get an idea if we look at the sheep down in the pasture there. So as you can probably see, that's not too far away, and yet they look a long way away, like tiny little sheep. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, we best get on down the hill before I lose it completely. Well, at least not so wind battered as I am at the moment. Okay, here we are, we're back at the stile. Happier?
Yeah, totally sheltered here.
Yeah, you can see that by your hair, the way that it's just sitting calmly on your head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Always time to walk through something.
Yeah, fallen leaves, the only one thing to do about it. Kick them around. It's so much quieter here, isn't it? I mean, now you've actually got a little bit of shelter from that wind. That wind was ferocious. So yeah, sincerest apologies to everyone if you have to have a bit of a voiceover with this one because of the wind. But it was just roaring up there and blowing straight into our faces. Yeah, so, yeah, absolutely gorgeous. So here we go, you can probably see the House of Tarvit emerging through the trees now.
Confusingly, the Hill of Tarvit refers to the house here rather than the hill. And even less obvious, the hill is named after an older building, Wemyss Hall, and that was built on this site around 1696. Settlement in this area goes back much further. Archaeological evidence shows that the site was built on and occupied around 2000 years ago, though it's likely that people have lived here long before then. When Frederick Bauer Sharp purchased Wemyss Hall and its estates in 1904, he set about modernising the old mansion. He employed Edinburgh architect Robert Lorimer to carry out the reconstruction. The main accommodation part of the old building was torn down, and it was replaced with a house that was better suited as a modern family home. Sharp also wanted to accommodate his collection of tapestries, porcelain, furniture and paintings, much of which remains on display in the house to this day. The Sharp family had made their money in the jute industry in Dundee, and if you remember our Lighthouse Larking video, I mentioned that Dundee was known as the city of jute, jam and journalism. Jute was an extremely lucrative industry, and it's a subject that I plan to return to. Frederick went on to expand the Sharp family's economic interests by branching out into venture capitalism and rail transport. When he died in 1932, he left his son Hugh a fortune, though sadly Hugh died in a railway accident only 5 years later, leaving his mother Beatrice and his sister Elizabeth living at the Hill of Tarvit. Elizabeth chose not to marry, thus ending the line of Sharps at Tarvit, and when she died in 1948, she left the family's fortune, including the house, an estate, her father's collections, and a very generous endowment to care for the property, to the National Trust for Scotland.
We find ourselves in the herb garden. Nicole's found the rosemary is growing wild. Well, it's not wild, but it's certainly overgrown. It's huge, isn't it? It's really. It must be really woody.
Yeah. It's probably not edible, but it smells really nice.
Very fragrant though.
Yeah.
We were at the Dooku earlier on, and I'd said I wouldn't want to be the servant who was asked to run over and grab some eggs for breakfast. the Dukut. It's way out there among those trees. You can't see it just now, but it's in there.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
I can't see it either. As promised then, we're going to do a little bit of crafting. 12 years ago when Craig and I got married, our wedding was snowflake themed. So today we decided to make a couple of pieces inspired by snowflakes and winter. So I've chosen some white C-class that I've already pre-drilled, and if you don't know how to drill, you can check out our how to drill C-class video, and there's also some star and snowflake charms here. Let's make that bracelet. really happy how these turned out, and I'm definitely going to keep one for myself as a wee gift to self for our anniversary.
It's been a windy day today, you might notice. Haven't had a haircut in a wee while as well. You probably know why. Anyway, that's us now. I just wanted to leave by saying a thank you to everyone who's watched this video, everyone who's commented, ticked the like, hit the bell, and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. An extra big thanks to everyone who's helped us out through Etsy and especially through Ko-fi as well. You really help us keep doing this. It means a huge deal to us. Thank you so much. We'll see you next Friday, 7 PM.